Welcome to Global Football Insights with Oliseh. The 2026 FIFA World Cup has given us unforgettable moments, tactical innovations, shocking exits, and now a new world champion. Spain have conquered the world, but beyond the trophy, this tournament may have changed international football forever. Joining me as always is expert Sunday Oliseh. Coach, welcome.
Oh, my dear, it's nice to have a world champion finally after so many weeks.
I'm telling you, it's been a long one.
And I enjoy this one.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. All right, so let's get straight into it. Coach, Spain now have won Euro 2024 and followed it with the World Cup, a reminiscence of 2010 and 2012 World Cup and the Euros. Naturally, people are beginning to compare this team with the legendary Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets generation from a football perspective, by the way. And we've witnessed the birth of another Spanish dynasty. Or is it too early to place this group alongside arguably the greatest international team we've ever seen?
Yeah, you see, if you want to compare both of them, one major difference is that the last Spanish team that dominated, they had majority of the players from one club, Barcelona.
Yeah.
But this time around, it's mixed. You have players from Man City, you have players from Atletico Club, you have players from Barcelona, you have players, it's just totally mixed up. Arsenal players.
Yeah.
So you see, and so it's more like, this is now, you can say, Spain. This is not a club, powered world champion.
Yeah.
And that's why I really loved it. And the way they played, it's just so beautiful. For me, I can say that we do have a new power force. Because you just rightfully compared. You were talking in the last time they won this. They did win the 2008 European Championships.
Yes.
2010 World Cup, and then 2012 European Championships again, back to back. This team is capable of doing it because I think they even have something better than the last time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got Lamine Yamal.
Oh, and he's just 19.
He's just 19. The last time they had a perfect team, but people were saying this team is good, but they're missing Messi. Somebody like Messi who could do all that. But now this team is very good, and they have a Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
And one thing I would like you to realize, not to forget, Toyos, is that this Lamine Yamal played this championship with an injury.
Yeah, he did.
He had an injury when the tournament started. He didn't start the first game. He had to come in and then gradually build himself. So he was not 100%, but he was still able to carry the day. And that's what I find exceptional about this player.
All right. So what impressed you the most? The quality of the players or the football philosophy Luis de la Fuente has managed to preserve while evolving it?
You see, if you want to understand Spain, you have to understand Luis de la Fuente. Luis de la Fuente, most of these players you see now, he coached them at the youth level.
Yeah.
He's been at the national team for almost like forever. He's been coaching the national teams, the youth age groups.
Yeah.
So he had already had some of these players. His philosophy is quite very, very simple. If you live in Spain or if you frequent Spain like I do, is that the philosophy is what the whole Spanish teams play. Look, my little village here in Spain, I was once going on a bicycle ride and I saw the local team training and I stopped and watched them train. You can't believe that this local team, they're in Division 9 or something, I don't know. They are also trying to play the passing game. Take it like a pass.
Yeah.
It is in their culture. He makes the players play at their best. He has the philosophy is there.
Yeah.
But he makes situations and the way they move the ball, he makes it in a way that it brings out the best from the individual qualities of each player. And that's what the national team is all about.
All right, so let's look at how De La Fuente's Spain was able to dismantle Argentina. What stood out to me wasn't just that Spain won. It was how they controlled Argentina. Limiting a team led by Messi to virtually no attacking rhythm is really something you rarely see, But from your perspective, was this simply tactical superiority from Spain, or did Argentina fail to find solutions when the game demanded it the most?
So you see, Lionel Messi is a great player.
Yeah, he is.
The greatest player of his generation. One of the greatest players of all times.
Yeah.
Thank God that Spain won this competition yesterday.
I'm telling you.
For the interest of football, it was important that the team that came out playing positive football wins the World Cup. Because the negative football that the Argentines put up yesterday, this was just, it's a bad it's a bad advertisement for football. Negative. And when I saw them fighting after the game, when the game was over, you don't fight your opposition after a World Cup final. I think that is just what that did it for me. I was like, enough is enough. I just think it's great that Spain won it.
Yeah, it was. It was. And so let's look at how two worlds have been able to collide in this particular tournament. And coach, football has a way of producing symbolic moments. Watching Lionel Messi leave the pitch while 19-year-old Lamine Yamal, who he baited some time ago, lifted the World Cup, almost felt like one generation passing the baton to another. Do you see this as the official beginning of football's next era, or is this still unfair to compare anyone with Messi's legacy?
I think football's next era started already some years ago. If you look carefully well, the moment Lionel Messi moved out from the European League into the MLS, the moment Cristiano Ronaldo moved on to Saudi Arabia, the next generation started. But it's just that the fact that these two legends, these two Galacticos, they've been too dominant of the game, people don't want to let go. But the reality is, it started. The football now belongs to the Mbappés, belongs to the Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, and the Rodris, and the Desiree Doués. In fact, there are so many names, so many players coming up now.
Okay, I understand this young players you've mentioned and this new generation you've mentioned, but a lot of people always feel like they would never be able to compare to the likes of Lionel Messi and Ronaldo because of the longevity. Or do you think the modern era of football will limit the number of games or how far they will go in terms of longevity?
It's going to be difficult. Longevity is going to be difficult for these guys. Why? Because of the fact the number of games they have to play.
Yeah.
Messi was well protected by Barcelona.
Yeah.
Because when he started out, Messi, he was injury prone. He was always getting injured. So they kind of like, that was when they adapted this walking player for him. They gave him a lot of freedom for him to work because they were trying to preserve him not to have too much physical exertions, but then for him to just perform when he needed to. And then they created the false nine, all these things they were done already to like make him to be able to not exercise too much, but to be, to be decisive. And that's why, and the man has done it very well. But these ones now, if you look at the number of games they have to play, look, the World Cup is over today. Some leagues started already yesterday. The Champions League qualifiers have started already.
A week ago,
a week ago. So you see, it's like the games they have to play is going to be too much. For these players to really make it, like Messi and Ronaldo did, I think they're going to have to, probably map out a scheme whereby they can play just a certain amount of games in a year. Or maybe if the teams are now financially strong enough to now make the squad bigger. That way you can always like rotate a bit. But top players don't want to be rotated. So it's going to be difficult.
True. Very true. You rightly mentioned earlier about how you were embarrassed or not too pleased with how Argentina carried themselves after the final, right? Coach, Argentina completely lost their composure towards the end of the final. As someone who's captained teams at the highest level, what usually causes experienced professionals to unravel emotionally in matches of this magnitude? Was it frustration, fatigue, or did Spain simply push them beyond, psychological limits?
It's what the French call impuissance.
What does that mean?
Impuissance means like when you're like, when you feel, I can't do anything. I am knocked out. I am overwhelmed.
No more hope.
No more hope. That is what it is. When you don't have the strength anymore to do anything. And I think that was what made them play like that, because they knew on all levels. Look, when you look at a team and a team plays a World Cup final, and the only shot at goal, the first shot at goal they had was at the 117th minute. So that means the whole 90 minutes, you didn't shoot once at goal.
At all.
At the opposition's goal. It was at the 117th minute, 3 minutes to the end of extra time, that you shot your first sort of goal. That is alarming. I think that is alarming.
Yeah.
And that shows you that that the other team, they were just dominated.
They were. But is this down to how they approach the game? Whose feet would you put all of this blame in the way Argentina?
It's quality, my dear. It's quality.
Okay.
Sorry to cut you short, but it's equality.
There's no point blaming anybody. It's just
No,
quality.
equality. The other team had too much quality. The other team were just too good. They were
Alright.
just too good. It's like it's. I've never seen this in a World Cup final. It's two classes.
Yeah.
It's like you have university and secondary school.
Yeah.
It was almost like that.
So if we're going to compare finals of when Spain defeated Netherlands that went down to the wire late in the game where Iniesta scored, and this final too as well, which side was more dominant? Which side played total football more than the other?
The Netherlands, they were dominated too.
Yeah.
That final also,
They
the
kept
Dutch were,
peppering at them, yeah.
they were dominated also by the Spanish also.
Yeah.
But the difference was that except for players like my man De Jong, who gave a karate shot to one of the
Alonso's chest.
Alonso's chest to tell him that, look,
Don't be shere, yeah.
they were not able to be as physical as the Argentines. The Argentines are known for this.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's why the Argentines don't like playing Africans. The history of the Argentines suffering is when they played Cameroon and when they played Nigeria, 1990 and 1994.
Wow.
1990, Cameroon bullied them, even got 2 red cards and still won the game. 1994, we bullied them also. We got all kind of yellow cards, but it's only the way to keep quiet their physical style of play.
All right.
But they always have these legends like Maradona or Messi. So that kind of balances the equation for them.
All right. So let's come right back home now. Coach, one of my biggest takeaways from this tournament is how competitive African teams have become. To an extent, I was impressed, even though I'm having mixed feelings, but I was impressed. Cape Verde surprised everyone. In fact, they're your best team from our last conversation. You love them so much. And you are even planning on a vacation to go there.
I've already checked the flight details.
Already? Come on, please.
Yes.
Can I tag along? I need to.
Yes, we'll see if there's a flight because it's not far from Lagos.
Anyway, so. All right. And Senegal, competed with Europe's best. Morocco continued to show their remarkable consistency. Yet no African nation reached the semifinals, which was the downside for me. But no problem. How close is African football now to producing a genuine World Cup finalist, or what is still missing?
My dear, listen. When we have greatness staring us in the face, let's not be blinded and not say it. What Cape Verde just did is greatness. Cape Verde played the current world champions and drew with them 0-0 and committed only 1 foul towards the end of the game. So in 90 minutes, their tactics held the Spanish at bay, and they played toe-to-toe against the best team in the world. The finalists, the Argentina, needed an own goal to beat Cape Verde 3-2.
In extra time.
Cape Verde is great. You can't tell me this is a failed World Cup.
No, it's not a fluke.
Africa got 90% right. 90% of the African teams who went to the World Cup got to the second round. We are the only continent who has that. Look, we got to the last 8. Morocco got there.
Yeah.
To the last 8.
Yeah.
And lost to the most talented team on earth at the moment, France. Talking of individual players.
Yeah.
So you see, it's been great. Argentina had to squeeze out, and people are still even criticizing that they don't believe Argentina beat Egypt. So African teams did great. They did very well.
Yeah.
Spain, the champions of the world.
Yeah.
They are the best team in the world at the moment. But how many European teams went to the World Cup? 16. Europe has a population of 700 million people, and they sent in 16 representatives. We have a population of 1.6 billion people, and we sent in 10. If you play Kalo with 16 coins, you have a more chance of winning than somebody who plays Kalo with just 10. That is the reality. No, I think for me, it's been the most successful World Cup for Africa.
Yeah. All right. While we're home in Africa, let's now go inward to our very own Nigerian team. While African football continues to make progress, Nigeria watched the tournament from home, and fans were upset, making mockery of some of our players that while your mates are at the World Cup, you are here having fun and just lounging. And Segun Odegbami recently questioned the direction of Nigerian football, pointing to deeper administrative and structural problems that we've also addressed on this podcast. Do you believe Nigeria's biggest challenge is talent development, football governance, or we have simply lost the culture and identity that once made the Super Eagles feared?
My dear, it's saddening, It's saddening because it's our country.
Yeah.
That's what makes it sad. It's difficult. It's difficult addressing the issues of Nigerian football because most of our people get emotional and they don't let reason fall in, but they let emotion go in. Because the reality, it's even scary now. Because we already said it on this platform. If we are not careful, we will be repeating what the Italians did. That is 3 World Cups without participation. Imagine now the next qualifiers. You are grouped with Cape Verde in the same group. Cape Verde just got they just got a whole huge experience now, World Cup experience.
Yeah.
The next group of players that are coming against this Cape Verde team, if we fall into the same group of them, will have had no World Cup experience because of the age. At the moment now, it's only, I think, Iwobi that is like a candidate to be around that saw 2018. But all the rest, they've all not really tested.
I think around Ndidi.
Yeah. No, I don't know if my man will still be there.
I doubt it.
We're talking in 4 years' time.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is the thing. So that is Ndidi solid. Sorry, that's it. So if you look at it from that way, we really are in danger.
Yeah.
Really are in danger. It's not, look, when you have 220 million people, you have an advantage. You have numbers. So all you have to do is put your house in order and things will work out right. Look, Big Sheg is not wrong. And when people like Big Sheg talk, all I need to tell people is that I better keep quiet and listen.
Yeah.
Because this is a man who has won the AFCON for Nigeria. This is a man who has captained the Super Eagles for Nigeria. And at his age, he has the interest of Nigeria at heart.
True.
The man is not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
So when he says that, listen to it. And I totally support what he's saying, that we have to act now. In fact, we are late. Huh?
But we can still salvage it.
Let it be said that we said it on this podcast. So you see, as at the moment, we are late. We're already running late.
Okay.
Preparation for the next World Cup should have started already 3 months ago. We are already running late.
Wow. But is there still time for us to salvage all of this? Can we still make 2030?
There is time. There is time to salvage. But the Spanish team you're seeing now, in 2022, they were a shadow of this team. So when De La Fuente took over, that's when this tornado started. Then it started winning everything. The most talented team in the world, when you talk player for player, post for post, now it's the French side. It's the French side. But this Spanish side, they've beaten the French side 3 years in a row.
I'm telling you.
With players that are individually not as talented as the French, but they've beaten them 3 times in a row. In fact, the last beating they beat them before this one, they were leading them at 1.51 before France came back and made it 5-4. Yeah. So that tells you the domination is there. And to even make it surprise you the most, had this not been a World Cup final yesterday, Argentina will have lost minimum 3-0 against them, because the Spanish were playing against the Argentines, but at the same time being cautious. We don't want to concede. We don't want to concede. If it was a free opening game whereby even if you lose, you can still make up like a group stage match, it would have been 3 or 4-1. I think it will have been 3 or 4-1. I think so.
All right. Speaking of worrying, being worried, the national team and all that, 2 national teams that are also worried about the evolution of modern football. Germany was exited by Paraguay. Brazil was eliminated by Norway. This has once again raised questions about 2 traditional football giants. Germany, who has had the most finals at the World Cup, and Brazil, who has won the most World Cups. Cafu recently suggested that Brazil is slowly abandoning the football identity that once made them unique. Do you think football's biggest nations are losing their identity now in pursuit of tactical uniformity? Or is this simply the natural evolution of the modern game?
What I love so much is that we've always said it on this platform that the local league is important. The local league is important. Yeah. The Bundesliga is no longer what it was, what it used to be. In fact, I'm having problems watching 90 minutes of the Bundesliga now.
You've preached that several times about the local leagues,
Yeah, but that is saddening. The local league is the reflection of your national team. If your local league is not solid, your national team will struggle. Even if you have players playing abroad, it will struggle, because that is the grooming ground.
Yeah.
where you start. And Germany is not doing well. The Brazilians, the league is not what it used to be also.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to go into specifics, the moment Carlo Ancelotti was named as coach of Brazil, I was worried. I was worried because Carlo Ancelotti is one of the greatest coaches ever.
Yeah.
But he's known for being pragmatic,
Mm.
the way he handles. Brazil excels when they show themselves, when they express themselves, when they show creativity everywhere, when they dominate you individual talent for talent. That is what Cafu is talking about. We are now trying to be European. We've gone to get an European coach.
Yeah.
We'll now try to play defensive, parking the bus.
Yeah.
When Cafu was playing, in case you don't know who Cafu is, Cafu used to be the captain of the Brazilian national team, right back, who was always like a winger.
Yeah.
Always offensive, going and coming. It was as if he had two hearts. So if you look at it from that point of view, the man is looking at his country and saying, look, we don't have the identity anymore. We are not Brazil anymore.
Yeah.
Brazil used to outsmart you by their technical prowesses, and that is not anymore. Just like we say about Nigeria anymore. You don't see the Nigerian flair anymore.
Yeah.
That dominance. That whereby we have our wingers, we are sharp, our wingers could take players on and everything. You don't see that anymore. And that's why, or let's just say it's less. And we have to get that back, otherwise we don't have a chance.
Mm.
Whereas, look at France. Now you see that in France. You see creativity one-on-one.
Yeah.
Look at Spain. You see Lamine Yamal taking players on the wings. You see Nico taking players on the left side. Whether you like it or not, it has to look at even Argentina. They were dependent on Lionel Messi taking people on, doing those creative things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at 39, there's a limit to what you can do.
All right. So let's look at the nation that loves for trophies to always come home, but yet this trophy always misroad and doesn't come home. It's always lost in transit and doesn't come home every time. England once again arrived with arguably one of the strongest squads on paper. Thomas Tuchel was quite very meticulous in picking some of these players for the World Cup. But somehow they fell short when it mattered most. People often talk about pressure, expectation, and mentality whenever England lose. From where you sit, Coach, is England's problem psychological, tactical, or have expectations simply become unrealistic every tournament?
I graduated from the English FA as a coach. That's where I did my professional coaching license. And I must tell you that the quality of the coaching there is second to none. The quality of the infrastructure you get put at your disposition when you're studying to be a manager in the UK, in England, England, not in the UK, in England, is second to none. But the way the managers who graduate from there apply it makes you question. Because if you look at it from that point of view, the Premier League is filled with foreign coaches, foreign managers, not the English managers. In as much as they push so much, the English do a lot, and the press and everything do a lot to push their kind to become managers. But if they get the chance, it doesn't work out. We've had Wayne Rooney, we've had
Steven Gerrard,
Lampard, Gerrard. They've all had chances, opportunities to coach. In fact, if you look at it, Gerrard managed Aston Villa. They were almost relegated. When Emery took them over, in 3 years now, European champions. So you see. So those are things that make you think twice. Now, the English have one problem. Football is coming home. But wait, so this what do you make World Cup a home team of the English? The first World Cup was in 1934. You didn't win it.
I think 60 years ago.
I was not yet in this world when they won their only World Cup. And in fact, ever since I've been alive, I've never seen the English win anything. If you know one trophy the English has won, ever since you've been on this earth,
none.
They've not won anything.
Not even the Nations League.
So there's a structural problem there. And the fact they've not been able to come down, they still think, oh, football is coming on. I don't want my English friends to be angry, but I'm just trying to put it like, is the truth like it is.
Yeah.
On the other hand, now let's go to specifics. When you saw England play the third place match, look at the first half. Look at how enterprising they were. Look at how quick they were to go forward. Look at how quick. What changed? There was just one thing that changed. Could you help me out?
The being defensive?
No, the first half against France, when they went four goals up.
Against France, the semi-finals.
Yeah. The third place.
The third place game. Oh, this third place game. In the second half, I think they just let go. And the first.
No, the first half. I'm talking about the first half. The first half. There was something that changed. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Well, with the English side, you really can never tell, and I don't always trust them. But the first half, they were good. They played without fear. They played without fear.
They played without fear, and you had Tony up front.
Yeah, Ivan Toney up front. Yeah,
you have Ivan Toney up front. So you now had a striker who, each time you had the ball, the first thing he did was run forward.
Yeah.
Okay. With all due respect, when you see Harry Kane play, in as much as they like to carry Harry Kane as the greatest striker they have, blah, 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 and all that, okay, which I disagree with totally. Yeah. He's probably the only striker that I know on earth that is playing at that level that doesn't have wild pace going forward.
Yeah.
If Mbappé takes off, good luck to you to catch him.
Sure.
Vinicius takes off, good luck for you to catch him. And to compensate for his lack of pace, he comes into the midfield to try to receive the ball and then give long passes. And then he comes as a second wave when the team is attacking.
Crashing the box, yeah.
That is not what you need the number 9 to do. That was one of the problems they had against Argentina. The moment they scored 1-0, they had nobody anymore forward that could stay forward and just keep the ball forward.
Man.
At least as a target man, to give them the option, at least when we get the ball back, when we're defending, we can now play you and then get some breath of air, and then they didn't have that. And they had that against France, and they profited. But the second half came what you are now asking about, the psychological part.
Yeah.
How do we now manage the 4-0 lead? And France also, the first half did not play.
Yeah.
Second half started playing. This game could have ended 6-4 for France because they missed so many chances at the end.
Yeah.
So the point I'm just trying to make here is that for the English to do better, they have to be realistic in the sense that they have top players, but sentiments don't make them really, really face and say, okay, this one is not good enough. This one is not. This is where we're lacking. This is where we're doing. And it's going to be like that.
Do you think the English side were missing some peculiar players that could change the narrative of a game or change the pace of a game? Do you think those players were missing, that Thomas Tuchel didn't bring along to the World Cup?
Well, you can say that if they had been losing. They were leading 1-0. With the team they had, they were leading Argentina at the semifinals 1-0 with 25 minutes to go.
Yeah.
The players, you had the quality. And they were playing well against Argentina before they scored. They were doing well. So it's not as if, I think it's just a question of the fact that, and it's a complex situation. One, when it comes to personnel, they are lacking in using the right people at the right places at the right time. Well, we saw what Bellingham did.
Yeah.
Bellingham carried this team almost single-handedly. Imagine if he had a second or a third one. Rodgers was doing great too.
Yeah.
But I think they were missing one particular point to them, and that's some form of leadership also is important.
And I'm glad you mentioned that leadership, and that's what leads me to my next question with England. Where should we blame Thomas Tuchel here in all of this? I can understand, yes, Harry Kane didn't do too great, especially in that Argentina game, helping them from the counter-attack to put pressure on Argentina's defense. But as a manager, you're supposed to instill confidence in this team. You're supposed to give constant instructions on how to contain and push forward. A big contrast from the first half to the second half, since they scored their goal in the 55th minute to when Argentina equalized, England had only 12 to 15% of the ball possession, coach. How does that make sense?
Against an Argentine team that is not known to be possession oriented.
Exactly.
So it's not as if you lost total ball possession to the Spanish. So that already tells you that there's something was wrong. There, it's easy to just sit down and start pointing fingers at the manager, But if you're asking me this question, where I think where he could have done better could have been the kind of the substitutions he made.
Yeah.
If you're taking off Gordon from the left side, come on, Rashford has to follow.
Yeah, not a defender.
That would be, and Rashford defends better than Gordon in the first place, and he can also give you options to go forward also when you get the ball back. So I think those are the kind of places that we can look upon and say they could have done better. They invited pressure, and and the Argentines they took it. So at the end of the day, maybe that is where you can attack, you can make criticism of the manager. But at the end of the day, the players also, this is a national team, not a club side.
Yeah.
Players at the national team, sometimes you have to show personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are on the pitch. You don't always have to look at the bench, Sometimes you also have to start. The moment they scored that goal, the first thing I saw that really infuriated me was the moment they scored that goal, I saw Harry Kane in front of the penalty box, Verde in front of the penalty box. And I said to myself, what are you doing,
What are you doing there?
And I can't imagine it is the manager that stood up and said, Harry Kane, go back to the front of the penalty box. I don't think so.
All right. Let's look to the future for England. The 2028 Euros is there. The FA has said Thomas Tuchel is not leaving. He met every expectation. The expectation was at least get to the semi-finals or possibly win it, right? 2028 Euros is there. World Cup 2030, but the imminent one is the Euros in 2028. What do they need to do differently to shuffle around to be contenders and be able to win this? At least bring trophy home. Let this home happen.
Well, the problem is for that home to happen, let me say some other teams need to die. Let me say Spain, France, all of them need to stop playing football.
Maybe they didn't qualify for the Euros.
Maybe they don't qualify for the Euros. Because as long as this Spanish team in this form,
I'm telling you.
And the French side with the hunger that they have, those French players have, and now this Erling Haaland has tasted
with Norway
success now with Norway now. So now he's feeling that okay, if we can't win the World Cup,
we can now
Euros.
Be more
Euros. We can. So you now have really wild competition coming up.
Very true.
It's not as if so. It's the World Cup. The World Cup is kind of like going to have a multiplier effect on certain nations. But these nations who always feel that we are big, football is coming home. The day they will stop singing that football is coming home, they will start winning.
Okay. So I think maybe that's the solution. Stop saying it's coming home.
Because if you say it's coming home, you think you own it.
Yeah. You think it should come home.
So if
it should be delivered to you.
So if you stop singing, delivered to me. So if you stop singing it's coming home, then you now know it does belong to us. So let me now fight and get it on.
All right. Coach, let's finish with the tournament itself. This was the first 48-team World Cup featuring 104 matches, longer scheduling, mandatory mid-half hydration breaks, and new demands on players. Some believe that FIFA has made football more inclusive, while others they've argued that the calendar has become too congested. Marcelo Bielsa has also mentioned that the beauty of the game has been taken out and we're having more games and risk reducing the overall quality of the spectacle itself. Now that we've seen the tournament from start to finish, do you believe the expanded World Cup has genuinely improved international football, or has it come at too great a cost?
Yes, when they started this, when we're going to have 48 teams, 104 games, I was worried. Well, we're going to have a lot of boring games. But it was the contrary.
Yeah.
Because if you look at, we had loads of quality games. Yeah. And, if we didn't have 48 teams, maybe we wouldn't have had this pleasure of seeing Cape Verde do what they did. Because Africa will now produce 10 nations. And if you look at even DR Congo, they did well. Everybody, they all had positives to take out of this, except for Tunisia. Yeah. Tunisia is the only African team that didn't get positives out of this World Cup.
And we can forgive them.
And they had a self-inflicted wound. I think that's how I see it. So it's not as if. But if you look at it, so there are lots of positives to come into it. And on the other hand, 1.6 billion people by population, and we love football. It's not as if we're a continent where football is not the powering point. Football is not like we're not a country where we play cricket or golf or something. No, the continent. We're not a continent like that. Yeah. It's soccer. Yeah. So we now have finally equitable that corresponds with our population. Yeah. The population, 10 representatives. That's it. And so for that reason, I don't think it is bad that it is 48. I think that's just the scheduling. Yeah. Has to be reduced. Because if you look at the league, the matches that the players have to play at the club side, it's too much. I think that those are the ones that have to be maybe reduced a bit.
Yeah.
If you look at the number of games they have to play for the Carling Cup or for the Carabao Cup or whatever,
or the FA Cup, the Champions League.
FA Cup,
Yeah.
it's a bit. The Champions League has been
Enlarged, yeah.
Everybody keeps enlarging. You keep enlarging because you want to have. It's look, football is a business.
Yeah.
Biggest mistake people make is that to think that football is just pleasure. No, football is business.
Move past that.
Everybody who's in football at this level, they are all professionals. Professionals means that is your profession. That's where you get paid. That's where the money is at. So for that reason, football is a business. So you must accept that at one point, the person who is now selling this product is going to look to maximize profit.
Yeah.
And that is what we have seen with this World Cup. That is the sense that the commercial aspect of it. I don't think this same format will follow the next World Cup, whereby we might have almost a 20 minutes halftime break because although I loved, the good part was that I got to see Burna Boy do
perform,
something at the halftime. So let's just take it as a one-off thing and try to be optimistic about it.
You rightly mentioned club football after this international tournament. In fact, earlier we mentioned the UEFA Champions League qualification have started. Some leagues in Serbia, Lithuania, they've already started, even in the Finnish league. Also, preseason have started. Manchester United traveled where they lost to Wrexham 1-0. Preseason has started. These players will join them after their short break, maybe from short vacation period given by the club and all that. And yes, we understand the commercial value. Football needs money. Players get paid heavy amount of money nowadays. Their contract is so big. But where do we draw the line where both parties can be happy? Football fans can be happy, and even players themselves can have rest with their bodies.
If players are not careful, we might have a lot of injuries when the season starts.
True.
This season. Put yourself in the place of players like Paris Saint-Germain.
I'm telling you.
2 years ago, they played the whole season.
They've not rested till now.
Won the Champions League. The Champions League was over. What did they do? They flew to the United States to play the Club World Cup. Got to the final of the Club World Cup. Lost to Chelsea. Came back to Europe again. Played the whole season again. Won the Champions League again. Their players was barely over. Almost the whole team went to the World Cup again for different countries and to play there again. Now the World Cup just ended yesterday. Now what are they going to do now? 1 or 2 weeks again, you join your club again and you start again. Because very soon we're in August. The league starts in August. And then there is a club side, there's national teams because Euro qualifiers will start.
Friendlies.
The AFCON will start. All those ones will start. So there are so many games coming up. How are these players going to cope?
Honestly.
So they really need a concise and concerted effort by the clubs to map out strategies. How do we now cater for these players so that we don't lose them?
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Coach Sunday Oliseh. Thank you for another interesting conversation. And to everyone listening, we'd love to hear from you. Is Spain beginning a new football dynasty? How close is Africa producing World Cup finalists? And has the expanded World Cup made the game better or simply bigger? Leave your thoughts in the comments, subscribe. And if you haven't already, join us again for another edition of Global Football Insights with Oliseh. Have a wonderful day.